Pakistan has accused India of igniting an inferno in the region by killing at least 26 people in a series of missile strikes and gunfire. Several sites in Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir were hit, including this mosque. The National Security Council says India's actions caused grave danger to commercial airlines, endangering thousands of lives, and that Pakistan's armed forces have been authorized to undertake corresponding action. Well, India said it hit 9 sites targeting what it described as terrorist infrastructure, said no military facilities had been attacked. Also says 10 civilians were killed by Pakistan shelling on the Indian side of the de facto border in Kashmir known as the Line of Control, while tensions between the nuclear-armed neighbors have escalated since last month's attack in Indian-administered Kashmir, in which 26 civilians were killed. India accuses Pakistan of backing cross-border terrorism, a charge Islamabad strongly denies. While in Muzaffarabad, in main city in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, troops cordoned off streets around that mosque that Islamabad said was hit by an Indian missile. BBC Urg Javad sent this just few meters from here is the Bilal Mosque, which was one of the targets of Indian strikes last night. This whole area has been cordoned off. There's a heavy presence of the troops of Pakistan Army and other security forces here, who are not allowing anyone to go past this point. The building of the mosque has been completely damaged. We can see debris and large fragments of metal rooftops scattered everywhere. You can see one metal piece here as well, and these are the scenes that we have seen almost everywhere. Not only the building of this mosque was damaged, but some of the houses which were very close to the mosque, they are also partially damaged. Most of the residents, they had left all they had left last night. Some of them had managed to come back today to assess the damages to their properties and also lock their doors. I have spoken to some of them who say that they were fast asleep when they heard explosions and they saw huge sparks of light when the missiles struck this building. One of them says that we were sleeping when we heard the first blast. He says that we ran out of our homes with our families and children. The kids were terrified and shocked and everyone was screaming. He says another resident I have spoken with, he says that the streets were filled with people fleeing in fear and unsure of what was happening. A sense of fear, uncertainty and trauma is not limited to this part only, but as we walk through the city we can see that the impact of this attack is on everyday life is quite visible. Streets are quiet but atmosphere is quite tense and people are trying to make sense of what happened last night. Thanks to Farhat for that. Well, India says the missile strikes are in response to a deadly attack on Indian tourists in Pahalgam last month. The whole country is happy that we took revenge. Our country gave a befitting reply to those who killed innocent people. Our enemy countries should get this message. We have information from every corner, and if we have to take more such action in the future, we will do so with more strength. Well, our correspondent Samir Hussain is in Delhi. She told us more about the response from the Indian government. So far, well, we actually heard for the first time from the Indian government and officials from the Indian military. It was the first time that we had heard anything from them in person after the overnight attacks, and they put up maps and showed details in terms of where they attacked last night in Pakistan-administered Kashmir and beyond that area. They said that the 9 targets were actually militant training camps. They were operating these training camps and even were housing weapons, and India said that those were their sole targets, that they successfully destroyed those targets, and they specifically picked those areas because there were no civilian, that there wouldn't be any civilian casualties, which India says that there weren't any civilian casualties. Of course, Pakistan denies all of this, denies that there were militants operating in the areas that they targeted, and they have said already that dozens of civilians have been killed in those strikes and even more have been injured. So it's a lot of what you're hearing from Pakistan from India rather being countered up by Pakistan and vice versa.